Everyone thinks this IPO is optional. It isn't. Own an index fund? You're about to buy SpaceX automatically. No vote, no price limit, no way out. Here's the trade nobody's talking about. This isn't a theory. A real rule change forces the buying, and the thing you're forced to buy matters even more than the rule. It's priced at $2 trillion. Here's the rule nobody voted for, and it already has your money on the hook. Quick background. The NASDAQ-100 is just a list of the 100 biggest companies on the NASDAQ. Your index fund copies that list. Normally, a company earns its spot over months of trading. Then NASDAQ quietly changed the rules. That was May 1st, 2026. The new rule created a 15-day fast lane. Before May, that lane didn't exist. Now any huge new stock in the top 40 joins within 15 days. SpaceX lists on June 12th. At $2 trillion, it's big enough to qualify on day one. The door opens by itself. Think of an index fund as a mirror. It just reflects the list. The list changes, the mirror changes. It never asks what anything costs. People assume these funds are neutral. They're not. Not when a rule forces them to buy before the price even settles. The rule added SpaceX before the market could price it. If you hold a NASDAQ-100 fund, this rule applies to you too. The fund doesn't need your permission to buy. The manager gets no vote on what goes in. And SpaceX saved 30% of the offering for small investors. That's triple the usual. Funds like QQQ track this index. That's $230 billion. None of them haggle on price. They pay whatever the market asks. So how big is the force bid? That number is next. $230 billion, ready to buy at any price. Here's the bid. Run the numbers. Index funds alone will be forced to buy $8 to $12 billion of SpaceX. That's the floor, not the ceiling. It ignores every other fund that copies them. And part of that money is yours. Here's why that matters. The funds have to buy, no matter the price. Every seller knows a $230 billion bid is coming, so the seller names the price. Not the fund, not you. Look how fast the price tag grew. In May 2025, SpaceX was worth $350 billion. By December, it had jumped to $800 billion. Then Musk folded in his AI company. That pushed it to $1.25 trillion. The IPO priced it at $2 trillion, 5 times bigger in a single year. So what do you actually get for $2 trillion? Everyone assumes you're buying Starlink's profits, but Musk's AI company is quietly eating those profits alive. 2 years ago, SpaceX made money. It earned $791 million in 2024. Then the AI company came in. Together, they lost almost $5 billion in 2025. That wasn't the rockets. AI losses drove the entire gap. And that loss is baked into what you're forced to buy. So here's what $2 trillion actually buys you. The AI merger changes the whole picture. Start with the price. At $2 trillion, that's 266 times the company's core profit. That's profit before interest, taxes, and other costs. For every dollar of it, you pay 266, and the company is still losing money overall. One business pays for everything. It's Starlink, the satellite internet. In 2025, it earned about $4 billion. The rockets lost $600 million. AI burned through more than $6 billion on top. So one winner is carrying 2 big losers. Right now, the losers are winning. Everyone counts on Starlink to carry this. It can. The $2 trillion price isn't based on today's cash. It's a bet on a promise about the future. And the filing gives no date, no schedule, nothing. If that promise breaks, nothing holds the price up. Now compare that to the giants. Meta trades at 16 times that same core profit, Alphabet at 36, Tesla at 119. SpaceX sits at 266. It stands completely alone. Then there's control. Musk owns about 42% of SpaceX, but he controls 84% of the votes. And the rules say he can't be removed as chief executive unless he votes to remove himself. Let that sink in. He cannot be fired without firing himself. Where did all the money go? Look at the spending. In 2024, SpaceX spent $5.6 billion building things. A year later, that nearly quadrupled to $21 billion. Most of that jump went straight into AI. And Starlink's profits are quietly paying for it. And if it all goes wrong, good luck doing anything about it. The fine print bans shareholders from joining class action lawsuits. To sue on your own, Texas law says you need 3% of the company. At $2 trillion, that's $60 billion. No regular investor has that. The exits are locked before you walk in. And it's not just me raising the alarm. The teachers union warned the SEC that 1.8 million members are exposed. Big pension funds like CalPERS sent a letter too. They called it the most management favorable governance ever brought to America's public markets. Their words, not mine. Yet every NASDAQ-100 fund buys it within 15 days. Math doesn't care how you feel about it. SpaceX is just the beginning. It won't be the last to get the rules rewritten for it. Subscribe for weekly analysis like this.